Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here. Make sure to hit that like button and check those links below and join us on Float.app as well as BitChute. We could be taken down from YouTube at any moment now. Anyway, let's get into the news today. We have been hearing a lot of interesting stories about testing coming out of Tanzania, and I wanted to get into these stories a little bit. As this article out of globalnews.ca says, Tanzanian president blames lab after goat papaya test positive for coronavirus. That also involves a pheasant. As this article out of Zero Hedge says, we sent them samples of a goat, a papaya, and a pheasant. Tanzanian president catches World Health Organization in epic lie. And we're going to go into the World Health Organization in a moment. But as the article says, as the number of confirmed coronavirus cases explodes across Africa, the creeping involvement of the World Health Organization, who has made some leaders suspicious of the NGO, Tanzanian President John Magufuli was growing suspicious of the organization, so he reportedly decided to investigate whether the organization was as trustworthy and reliable as it claimed to be. He played what the local press described as a trick on the organization. He sent the World Health Organization samples of a goat, a papaya, and a quail for testing. As the article continues here, all three samples reportedly tested positive. When the president heard the news, he reportedly confronted the WHO, then kicked the organization out of the country. Though, to be sure, the WHO has yet to comment on the situation. They have, since this article came out, they denied it. They denied any of the allegations. Anyway, carrying on here, it says, that would suggest one of two conclusions. Either the strain of SARS-CoV-2 running amok in Tanzania is much, much more infectious than scientists understand, or the World Health Organization has been reporting incorrect results, either on purpose, as an attempt to bolster its credibility in the face of President Trump's attacks, or via error. Yet another indication that the World Health Organization truly is badly broken, as Vox described it back in 2015. Most rational people would probably accept the latter scenario as the most accurate. I don't know. I think they are purposely propping up the number. We'll go into that in a moment. But you can see a few tweets here, and of course the president of Tanzania did a speech calling it a dirty trick, as it says, Magufuli has garnered plenty of controversy himself over the past few weeks. He recently requested stockpiles of a herbal tea that has been falsely branded as a COVID-19 cure and has launched investigations impacting domestic labs and even frontline medical workers, as he's claimed the number of positive cases in his country is too high. That's something that I have here up on the screen. Tanzania gets Madagascar's anti-coronavirus drink disputed by World Health Organization. Tanzania receives first shipment of herbal concoction that Madagascar claims cures COVID-19, but World Health Organization has misgivings. It looks like apple cider vinegar. Anyway, as it continues here, it says, the reality is that Tanzania doesn't have much of an outbreak. It has recorded only 503 cases and 21 deaths, though its mortality rate of 4% would suggest that the true number of cases likely numbers in the thousands. But again, the tests are faulty according to them, so that could be the other way around too. As it says here, following the results, Magufuli fired the head of Tanzania's national lab, sparking a political firestorm. Of course, though Magufuli has been criticized for trying to play down the impact of the virus, the government has so far refused to answer questions about where its test kits were manufactured, as Al Jazeera points out. On Thursday, the head of the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention rejected claims of faulty tests by Tanzania's president. That's because Africa, guys, is owned by the United Nations and China. I mean, that's a fact. I'm sorry, but China has done what the IMF has done for years, loan money to countries, and then they're loaning more money than they can afford to pay back, and then they take over the control of the resources of the countries and eventually the country themselves. This is an amazing, unbelievable power grab across the continent. So, and I saw this myself when I was in Africa. I saw Chinese lettering everywhere I went. There's a huge takeover happening there. And the IMF, of course, working with the United Nations, like the World Health Organization, funded by Bill Gates, is working with the United Nations. And they're finding faulty numbers. And we can confirm that as well just from hospitals in the United States, Canada, and Mexico who have been saying that they've been actually told to write down COVID-19 as a reason of death on people that did not die from COVID-19. And the tests are terrible. There's, as Elon Musk rightly pointed out in the recent Joe Rogan episode that he did, there's a difference between diagnosing someone as symptomatic of COVID-19 and diagnosing someone as having COVID-19. Those are two different things. And they use symptomatic as a reason to mark death on death certificates. And it's propping up the number, creating a perpetual circle. It helps bankrupt hospitals and institutions at the same time as it brings the number way up, creates more reason for fear and concern, and leads to more chaos and leads to more ability for the government to step in and create order out of chaos. So obviously, for multiple reasons, you can imagine the United Nations aren't too happy about Tanzania relaxing restrictions as of today on international flights. So one of the few countries in the world, the country of Georgia and the country of Greece, are said to open on July 1st for international tourism. But right now, Tanzania is just really relaxing restrictions because they feel like they've been victimized by the global government. I can imagine there will be a war there soon. It tends to happen when you go up against the global government. Either way, whether it's a U.S. global government or the Chinese global government, or perhaps a combination of both of them, because if you go back in time, you can go back to the 1970s, I almost called Kissinger Hitler. Kissinger meeting with Mao Zedong in China, creating an alliance and a monopoly on trade, leading into the creation of the Trilateral Commission, headed by Zbigniew Brzezinski, or created by Zbigniew Brzezinski, who talked about how he wanted to see a massive global technocratic order, which is exactly what China is doing right now. Social credit, tracking, tracing everywhere, which we're seeing Bill Gates push forward. Now, China works hand in hand with the World Health Organization. There's a massive amount of corruption, and the World Health Organization is headed by Tedros, get this, another African who was once the head of the Communist Party in Ethiopia. So we have all these connections, and then you have Dr. Fauci, who was directly involved in the Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases, which funded millions and millions of dollars to the Wuhan lab to do studies into bats with coronavirus that was 96% consistent with the novel coronavirus. And the studies went into how to splice it and how to spread it to humans. Are we really going to sit here and think that this is just a conspiracy theory? Guys, what are the chances of that? And now you have these faulty tests, and of course, the World Health Organization denies. That's how politicians work. Deny. I don't know. I think most people on the ground are starting to question why they've been kicked out of their jobs. 52% of small businesses say they cannot survive after all this. The worst jobs report in history. Bill Gates himself said that the shutdowns will kill more people than the virus itself, but said that we need to keep on pushing for the shutdowns, even though, let's face it, we were told 3.7% to 7% death toll from the virus, and now we know it's a 0.08% to 0.2%, which is just below or just above slightly the average flu per capita. Fake numbers everywhere, so pile that on top of everything. Countless people disappearing in China, this massive power grab, and people are impoverished. There's a massive global depression. People are out of work. People are going to the streets and they're being called selfish for asking for their jobs back. I mean, this is insane. You're looking at a massive uprising in the making, guys. And you have these idiots walking around on the streets, walking down the streets next to a beach, which is off limits to walk on because of social distancing, walking down the street with a mask on or driving alone in their car with a mask on. Give me a break. This is a scam. It's fraud. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's overblown and being used as a way to control the masses, to enforce more control over the masses. And more people are waking up to that. And my God, what will happen when people recognize this entirely and start fighting back? When are they going to fight back? We're a long way into it, and they're talking about forced vaccinations. ID 2020 won't be able to leave a country unless you've had the vaccines. Forced vaccinating children. 1 in 5 people say they will refuse the vaccine. That's millions and millions of people are refusing the vaccine in the United States alone. And that is going to lead to a hell of a lot of violence if they start forcing needles into people's children's arms. And then on top of that, everyone's broke. There's a health crisis that comes with poverty. And, you know, places like Africa have been ransacked enough over the decades. So to see this come up, papayas testing positive for coronavirus. I don't know why Zero Hedge is so insistent that, you know, it's probably the latter. Probably it's an error. These guys, this isn't an error, guys. This is an attempt to manipulate numbers. That's what the government and banks have always done. Manipulate, and utilize that manipulation in order to gain more power, control, and money. So there you have it. Anyway, we will continue to break down this subject. This video will very likely be taken down from YouTube because we're not allowed to talk about this stuff. It goes against the community guidelines. So we hope that you guys check the links below. Find us on float.app and BitChute. We need you guys over there as soon as possible. Join flote.app, float.app, and BitChute, World Alternative Media. Find us on there, guys. We've got seriously very limited time left here on YouTube. There's a book burning happening, and they will take down this channel. They will delete all the videos. They've already deleted some of our videos. We need your help, guys. Now more than ever, pledge below. There's ways to pledge. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. You can pledge on Float and crypto. There's crypto tip options. We have CoinTree linked below. Many things that you can help keep us alive with, because it's never been more important to counter the official quote-unquote narrative. Anyway, I appreciate everyone joining us today. I might have to take a little trip to Tanzania soon. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against the mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like float.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Float is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.